Today is Monday, July 12th, and welcome to my podcast. And the New York Times is disgusting with their comment here. Top general commanding U.S. forces in Afghanistan to step down. Top U.S. commander in Afghanistan relinquished his position at a ceremony at the capital in Kabul on Monday, taking the United States a step closer to ending its 20-year war. The move came as Taliban insurgents continue to gain territory across the country. Another four-star general will assume authority from this U.S.-based post to conduct possible airstrikes in defense of Afghan government forces, at least until the U.S. withdrawal concludes by August 31st. General Scott Miller has served as America's top commander in Afghanistan since 2018. He handed over command of what has become known as America's Forever War in his waning days to Marine General Frank McKenzie, the head of U.S. Central Command. McKenzie will operate from Central Command headquarters in Tampa, Florida. The Afghanistan National Defense and Security Forces, mostly funded by the United States and NATO, have put up resistance in some parts of the country, but too overwhelmingly Afghan government troops appear to have abandoned the fight. In recent weeks, the Taliban has gained several strategic districts, particularly along the borders with Iran and those other countries listed there. Afghanistan's National Security Advisor Hamdullah Mahib, who attended the handover, said the U.S. and NATO withdrawal has left a vacuum that resulted in Afghanistan's national security forces stranded on the battlefield without resupplies, sometimes running out of food and ammunition. Moheb said the greatest impact of the withdrawal is a lack of aircraft to resupply troops. Currently, the government is regrouping to retake strategic areas and defend its cities against Taliban advances. And after Miller's departure, a two-star admiral based in the U.S. Embassy in Kabul will oversee the U.S. military's role in securing the American diplomatic presence in Kabul, including defending the Kabul airport. Miller's departure does not reduce the scope of the U.S. military mission in Afghanistan, since McKenzie will assume the authorities now held by Miller to conduct airstrikes in defense of Afghan government forces under certain circumstances. The conditions under which such strikes might be used are not clear, nor is it known for how long McKenzie will keep the strike authority. While Washington is not saying how many troops remain in Afghanistan, a CENTCOM statement more than a week ago said the withdrawal was 90% complete. Gas prices hit record high of $3.14 a gallon as demand continues to soar even as oil prices stagnate. This is true. This is the price in central PA right now. Wildfires rage as U.S. West grapples with heat wave and drought. A Florida resident detained as key suspect in Haiti killings. The latest suspect detained in the search for the masterminds and assassins in the killing of President Jovenel Moise is a Haiti man in his 60s living in Florida who claims to be a medical doctor and has accused the leaders of his homeland of corruption. They identified the man on Sunday as Christian Emmanuel Sanin and said Moise's alleged killers were protecting him. Among the items found at his house were a hat with the logo of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, 20 boxes of bullets, gun parts, 4 automobile license plates from the Dominican Republic, and 2 cars in correspondence with unidentified people. So their initial mission was to protect Sanan, but they later received new orders to arrest the president. And the operation started from there, he said, adding that the additional 22 suspects joined the group and the contact was made with Haitian citizens. So records show that he has never been licensed to practice medicine in Florida or any other occupations covered by the State Department of Health. Go figure. He claims falsely that Haiti has, well, I don't know about falsely. Uranium, oil, and other resources have been taken by government officials. You have to consider this source. I don't believe that's the truth. Some things are. That's why I read these things, to get the latest. A parachutist from Camp Roberts torpedoed through the roof of a Southern California home and into the interior of the house, authorities said. The man, who was reportedly a British soldier in the midst of a training exercise, dealt with a chute that didn't fully open before he plunged to the house. Yikes, before 5 p.m., July 6th. He was conscious but stunned with complaints of pain, obviously, but no visual serious injuries. Oh goodness, the occupants were not home at the time, thank goodness, and therefore uninjured. Wow. Tropical storm Elsa did weaken as it moved up the coast after leaving one dead, several injured at a Navy base in Georgia, and thousands without power in Florida.
I guess we're passing on top of those people.
Yeah, no, I'm not standing any brown water.
Scattered thunderstorms are likely to roll in around 2 o'clock on Monday and could bring dangerous flash floods to New York City, with areas expecting up to 4 inches. Some of the places hit could be the same highways and subways hit on Thursday when Elsa came through. The time is now 2:09 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is the current radar map showing New York area, Pennsylvania. Looks like that storm might be what would be hitting that area, but it's not hitting it yet. And this storm here, soon to come to this area. That is, let's check movement. Future. Let's see here. Right. Ah, it's going in that direction. Okay, yeah. That looks pretty heavy duty. Wow. Okay. The FDA is expected to announce new warnings on Johnson & Johnson vaccine related to rare autoimmune disorder. Guillain-Barré syndrome, which the immune system attacks the nerves, according to 4 individuals familiar with the situation. Very similar to what I'm dealing with. So these cases have largely been reported about 2 weeks after vaccination, and mostly in men aged 50 years and older. Data does not show a pattern suggesting similar increased risk. Wow, men. Usually it's women that get that. That's different. Usually occurs at a rate of 60 to 100 cases each week according to the CDC data. While the cause of the symptom is not fully understood, It often follows infection with the virus, including influenza or bacteria. Each year, estimated 3,000 to 6,000 people develop this. Most people fully recover, but some have permanent nerve damage, according to CAC. Uh-huh. Right. Of course, they're going to argue it's sales safe. So in June, the American Neurologists Association found 11 cases of it in 2 to 3 weeks after vaccination with the AstraZeneca. These cases were from England and India. Bill Gates attends billionaire summer camp where he talks about climate change to people who flew in on private jets. It was held in Idaho. Saw a lot of billionaires supposedly concerned about the environment. In fact, aviation authorities in the U.S. had to ban other air traffic originating on the U.S. West Coast in order to give the billionaires clearance to take off in a timely fashion. Oh, jeez. Katie Hobbs goes into panic mode.
Well, we can only hope, but right now it seems like they are just continuing to lead by conspiracy theory. Those who know that this fraud is a farce aren't willing to speak up about it, and certainly no indication that the state's top law enforcement officer is going to act on a request to investigate. And in fact, he didn't even need a request from my office. He should have just acted on the reports alone. Every layperson can look at this and say this really does look like an attempt to interfere and should be warrant further investigation.
Unless the man who was on the show was lying, it happened. But do you agree that as it stands right now, it is highly unlikely anyone will be held to account for strong-arming state officials into putting out what they wanted, which was the fraud farce?
Well, to my knowledge, there is an investigation right now on the same tactics that were used in Georgia. And so hopefully now that we have this actual evidence that's come forth, it will result in at least an investigation here that can lead to these folks being held accountable.
Here's what you're up against. The GOP chair, Kelly Ward, put up her tweet. She was suggesting that election officials should go to jail because their pushback against the frauding. You know, you blocked access, you withheld or deleted information, said they did not possess the passwords to the computers. Did any of that happen?
They're just making this stuff up. I mean,
oh my God!
You can just assume they made it up to just continue to pile on because that's their goal is to continue to sow doubt, to undermine the integrity of our election, they're just making it up.
What are you afraid of, Katie?
Thank you for making your case to the audience. Thank you for letting us know what's happening.
Obama, Clinton, and Bush speaking about Haiti disaster relief right before they stole all of it. This was 5 years ago. Crooks, all of them.
Presidents Bush and Clinton will help the American people to do their part, because responding to a disaster must be the work of all of us. Indeed, those wrenching scenes of devastation remind us not only of our common humanity, but also of our common responsibilities. This time of suffering can and must be a time of compassion.
Most effective way for Americans to help the people of Haiti is to contribute money. That money will go to organizations on the ground and who will be able to effectively spend it. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash. One of the things that President will do is to make sure your money is spent wisely.
It is still one of the most remarkable, unique places I have ever been. And they can escape their history and build a better future if we do our part. And President Obama, thank you for giving us the chance to do a little of that.
And this is what's going on in the world. Updates by Disclosed TV. The Cuban government uses Chinese tech systems to block internet access. The Cuban government is relying upon Chinese-made technology to block internet access during the nation's largest anti-communism protest in decades. And Marco Rubio posted about, I warned about this earlier today. It's happening and it will continue. The lawmaker, who is of Cuban descent, warned that the regime would block internet and cell phone service soon to prevent videos about what is happening.
Thousands of Cubans on Sunday took to the streets over a worsening economy in a display of civil unrest rarely seen in the communist-ruled island nation. Demonstrators in the capital city Havana chanted freedom amid heavy police presence. Many called for better access to vaccines, while others blamed the government for daily blackouts. One protester said he was struggling to make ends meet in an economy plagued by sanctions and the global health crisis.
We are here because of the repression against the people. They're starving us to death. Havana is collapsing. We have no house. We have nothing. They have money to build hotels, and they have us starving.
Protests broke out in San Antonio de los Banos, which borders Havana, and later spread hundreds of miles east to Santiago de Cuba. In a televised speech to the nation, President and head of the Communist Party Miguel Diaz-Canel blamed unrest on foreign influence. He encouraged patriots to confront anti-government.
The DOJ lied about the fully constructed U.S. Capitol Lego set found in January 6 protesters' home. According to court records, federal prosecutors alleged 27-year-old Robert Morse directed other protesters during one of the most intense and prolonged clashes with Capitol police officers at the Lower West Terrace on January 6th. Morse, a former Army Ranger, was indicted last month on 9 counts and has been in jail since his arrest, pending trial. Prosecutors argue Morse is a flight risk and a threat to the community. So when the feds raided his home, they found his military fatigues, a utility bag, firearms, and a fully constructed Lego set of the U.S. Capitol. But the DOJ lied, obstructed justice, and defrauded the court. In the original detention memoranda, the undersigned stated that the law enforcement found a fully constructed U.S. Capitol Lego set. Please note that after a review of the photographs from the search, there appears to have been a miscommunication, and that statement appears to be inaccurate. The Lego set was in a box and not fully constructed at the time of the search, as pictured below, the DOJ said in a new filing. There it is. Go with kindness and love, and pray for those in harm's way today.